Hello and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pints and Quarts. It's the beer industry news show from Craft Beer Nation. I'm Matt Miller. Got with me here on this broadcast, we've got Randy Gardner, Gil Mello, Doug Nolan, Ashley Bauer, and Alan Huerta. And the six of us in the hangout tonight are recording on Wednesday. Friday is our usual time, but we're recording on Wednesday this week because the six of us and a few others are meeting in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we are going to all converge in that great city of North Carolina and have a bottle share, and I think we're going to try and see every brewery that ever existed in the three-county area and have some good fun this week. So put up with us a few days before Friday. The podcast will still be up, so tune in, listen in, and we'll be here. So the main story, obviously, tonight is we're going to talk about the Beer Camp 118. One of the guys here in the panel, Alan Huerta, he spent some time in December out at Beer Camp at Sierra Nevada and brewed a beer with those folks. And they kegged it, shipped it, got approval for it, and we're going to tap it on the 12th on Saturday at Busy Bee in Raleigh at 3 p.m., by the way. If you're listening in the area, stop in and get a cold pint of Grandma's Closet. So now, Alan, tell us a little bit about your experience in December and what this beer is all about.
All right, so again, I'd like to thank everyone out there for putting up with my and everyone else's annoyance of, trying to get me sent there, because it was one of the most epic times of ever. And yeah, so
what he's talking about is he made a video and had to get people to vote for it to be able to get selected to go to Beer Camp, and it was maybe 10 posts a day of please vote for me, and we clicked and we clicked and we clicked, and he won.
Best beer in the world.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a few times that I was like, I'm tired of it.
So are you performing the song when you tap the beer?
I mean, maybe I'll throw on the devil suit and everything. Who knows?
Oh, there you go. The There's a grown man wearing red tights. He deserves to win.
We'll throw the video up so everyone can make fun of me some more later on.
That's a great idea.
Perfect.
I'll be linking to that in the community soon enough.
So yeah, after that happened, got flown out to Sierra Nevada and met up with there were 10 or 11 of us total that came together to work on this recipe, and we talked about it beforehand, on Google. We just had a thread going and some emails exchanged back and forth, trying to figure out what beer or what style or anything we wanted to do. So we started with, there were a couple different groups within our group. There was a group that wanted to this is Sierra Nevada, we need to brew an IPA. We can't not use all their hops. There's a group saying, well, this is Beer Camp, we want to do something crazy. We want to do something stupid that you never see again, regardless. And there was another group that wanted to do something that was really marketable because they wanted their beer to make it into their 12-pack that they release every year, which, this year they're doing the Beer Camp Across America box set, so they're not releasing a best of box. So, they told us up front it wouldn't work for that regardless.
So let me get this straight. They basically said, here's a key to the hops closet and a key to the grain room, and just pick anything you want?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have pictures of me inside bales of Simcoe and everything. So
see, and the fact that they gave you the key to the hops and the key to the grain is the key to the malt is why I'm upset about the beer that y'all brewed. But go ahead.
Okay, well,
I know. Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
So I, in those three groups I talked about, I was in a group where I wanted to do something crazy, intense. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to do something that was unknown, unseen, unheard of, I didn't have any ideas, but I threw out a million. I was we could do a Saison, we could do a Maibach, we could do a, blah. It was everything. I was trying to say everything besides IPA. I thought toward the end we came up to wheat wine, but it seemed like we still fell in the IPA realm when we did the beer. But Grandma's Closet is actually brewed with a good helping of wheat, sits in about 8%, and I wish I knew the percentage of wheat that was in it, and we actually aged it on cedar spirals for, I think they did it for 6 weeks on the spirals before they kegged it. Don't have the exact recipe at the moment. They're supposed to be emailing that to me, so we'll see. But I don't know, it's just intense time trying to figure all that out.
Cedar how long on Cedar Spirals?
6 weeks. That was
6 weeks.
like minimum time for I guess the minimum time for the max extraction, something like that.
All right, so talk to me about this. Go ahead.
How large of a batch did you guys make? Like, how many barrels? Was this, I guess, on their one of the pilot systems of some sort?
Yeah. So we brewed this in their pilot brewery, which is a 10-barrel system in a pilot brewery. But their fermenters in there are 20 barrels, so essentially it was 2 different batches that came together to make the one batch there.
And so there's 20 barrels total of this beer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So talk to me about the fermentation schedule then. So you fermented it, and then you moved it to a secondary for the spirals?
So we, just primary fermentation. I'm not sure how long it was there, but I'm assuming their brewery probably, I know in their main brewery, I think they said they only leave the things in primers for 3 or 4 days. So I'm assuming their pilot's probably very similar. And then moved into one of their secondary fermenters, and that's where we dry hopped with Neo Mexicanus, and we had this Cedar Spirals, and at that point.
Yeah. 3 or 4 days in primary. The yeast must be all fed up and ready to go by the time they pitch it, huh?
Oh, yeah, they pitch copious amounts and have quite a big culture going.
When you use, and I know on the homebrew perspective, on homebrew sides, spirals, I've used oak spirals and a beer or two. Did you guys get to see the size of the spirals used?
I did not.
Are they do they use just tons of little ones, or do they have these log-sized cedar spirals that they just throw in the tank?
I could probably ask them about that, because I'm not sure. Because we came with this idea and we were able to use anything there, but they didn't have cedar spirals there because they never use them for any of their beers. But they were like, yeah, we could do that. So they actually called up. I don't know what company that Cigar City used, but I think they called up the same guy that they ordered theirs from. So, I'd
have to imagine they're some sort of tree trunk size, mass. Because a 20-barrel fermenter is pretty good size. So,
I'll email them and find out. No idea, honestly.
So then there were 11 of you in the class. And part of the deal was you get to give them the name of a beer bar or a tap house or something, and then they would distribute some of this to you for a release party.
Yeah. So what it was, exactly what you said. It's our beer. We came there. They gave us their whole facility. We did everything, and so they're like, well, when the beer's done, tell us where you want it to go. So, if you guys saw Brewdog's past couple weeks, Busy Bee is correct. They were ranked the #1 bar in Raleigh. Remember?
In Raleigh, Durham, not just Raleigh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they were ranked the #1 beer bar there, so it's kind of awesome that.
How much of it is going to them?
A barrel.
Just a barrel of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess there was just 11 of you, so you do that 11 times and you're working the batch down. So.
Yeah, and then they also the allocations. I'm getting a 5-gallon keg for my house, and they gave everyone that option. And then some of it went to places like the Torpedo in California and everything like that. So.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the other members in Craft Beer Nation there on Google Plus was drinking it in, where was she? Tucson?
Yep, Tucson.
Yeah, they had it on tap in Tucson. So it's kind of neat. So you get a little exposure for your beer, and everybody, 11 parties around the nation, I guess, is the way it is. So that's kind of interesting. And they do this several times a year, or they do this?
Well, they the consumer one for the past, I want to say it's been 4 years now. Every summer they open up their contest and have the whole voting process, and then they have 2 consumer camps in December. But pretty much it goes on year round, and they invite distributors, bar owners, breweries, just the whole pretty much beer people. Some of them might not even be beer people. They just work at this bar, and they want to teach them about the brewing process, how to properly serve and handle their beer, stuff like that. So get their groups together. They all come there. They figure out a recipe and brew it up, and like same thing.
Yeah,
So
that's a pretty big commitment.
How was the recipe developed? Was that something you guys got to pick the stuff for, or did you get to tell them, hey, I want it to be around 7% alcohol, 70 IBUs, or so on and so forth?
Yeah, that's the way we did it. We we're sitting at a tasting bar, and they were giving us samples of like their beers and everything like that, and they were pretty much asking us, so like, what do you guys want to do? Like pick a style to start with, pretty much. And then they were like, okay, what color do you want it to be? What ABV? Like, are there any ingredients you want to use? What hops you want to use? Like everything was listed out, so they gave us. So we saw like everything that they had available at that time.
Well, very cool.
I wish I would have gone the wheat wine route, but whatever.
Yeah.
I wish it was something like some crazy like Doppelbock or something. I know a guy from our homebrew club went a few years ago, and their group did a German alt beer, which was quite different from what you typically see.
All right.
Well, I was doing a quick search here while I was looking for the cedar spirals, and I mean, I think most of us know that Cigar City does cedar spiral aging, but did you know Jester King has also done one on cedar aged?
Did not.
I forget the name of it. I think I had it.
El Credo Hoppy Cedar Aged with Brettanomyces.
Yeah.
It did not distribute to South Carolina.
I don't recall it being very good.
Cigar Cities is awesome.
Yeah.
So Alan was talking about the Sierra Nevada's beer camp 12 pack, and this summer it's not actually going to do with the beer camp best of the beer camp stuff. It's actually beer camp across America. Is that right, Alan?
Yes, it is.
So beer camp across America is like a beer tour, and they're stopping and doing collaborations with different breweries all across the U.S.
Yeah, pretty much the idea behind that was, like, since they're opening their new facility in, like, 3-4 weeks or whatnot, they were, a whole bunch of the biggest breweries around the country, they said, we're going to brew beer with you. So they're all 12 of them brew their beers, and they're going to be doing a 7-stop tour starting in Chico and ending in Mills River, like Asheville, North Carolina, essentially, and having a beer festival in each of the 7 towns that they're going to.
Well, that's really cool. So Mills River is right near Asheville, is it?
Yeah.
Half an hour away.
All right. Well, then that ties into the story that Lola was talking about last week in Pints and Quarts, where Bold Rock was moving to Mills River, North Carolina. So now it makes sense. They're doing something down there. I didn't realize where Mills River was.
I think the big thing about the pack is that they're 12 collaboration, and you can only get on the pack. They're not going to distribute it anywhere else off that pack.
Yeah, so right there is 12 unique beers on Untapped for anybody who gets that 12-pack.
Yep.
And I imagine, I don't know what's in it. I'll have to take a look at what's in it. But it sounds like a best of, sounds like a fun thing.
Scottish, they have anything from Scottish ale to pale ale, English bitter. They have a little bit of Maibach.
Nice.
Yeah, those are interesting styles.
Even an alt beer in there.
At least it's not 12 IPAs.
Exactly.
I don't want to kick that because I love IPAs. Believe me, that's probably about half of what I drink in the summer. But there's just so much else out there. It seems like everybody just does an IPA and then nothing else. So.
Yeah, they did one of the beer in the pack that I'm very curious is an IPL.
Indian Pale Lager.
Indian Lager. Yeah, which that would be nice to try.
You know, we were on our beer release notes here too. We were Founders has got one coming out in their backstage series, an IPL, and I'm trying to think who did Widmer Brothers or somebody had an IPL out last year as well.
They
too,
did.
So. And in fact, the SIPA last
I heard
summer was an IPL.
Breckenridge did one.
Yeah, Breckenridge did the big SIPA and pitched a lager yeast.
Sipal.
So,
There is Jack Abbey out of New England does Hoponius Union. It's a IPL and amazing. You can never get your hands on it.
Yeah, Jack's Abbeys, right? Or Jack's Abbey. Yeah.
It is delicious.
All right. Well, let's move on past Sierra Nevada. This is the Sierra Nevada show this week. and Randy found something in the New York Post or from Beer Pulse or what? What did you find about some truffles?
So there's this there's this brewery out of Chicago called Moody Tongue Brewing Company, and they're brewing a beer with truffles. And for those who don't know, truffles can be quite expensive. Like, as a matter of fact, my grocery store sells truffles, and they keep them locked up in like this display box, and it's like $1,000 a pound, or yeah, $1,000 a pound.
Wow.
So as you can imagine, this beer is probably going to come with a hefty price tag. Well, it actually is coming with a hefty price tag. It's going to be $120 for a bomber. So
truffles, you have to shave it.
Right, and that's the thing. The brewer, his name is Jared Robin. The guy's only 32 years old, and he's actually he's a chef, and he's the brewmaster for Moody Tongue Brewing Company. And so he said he spent like countless hours shaving truffles. He was like, imagine all night trying to separate egg whites from egg yolks, but by the I can't remember what he said, by the buttload. Let's just go ahead and go with that. So I mean, and that's what he did. And apparently, growing truffles is really hard. I didn't even know that people actually farm truffles. I thought it was just something that kind of naturally happened. And now that I think about it, that was pretty stupid of me of thinking. But there's only one of the few companies that have had success in doing it is a farm based out of Australia called the Wine and Truffle Company. So these are Australian truffles. They can sell up to $3,600 a pound. And so in this particular beer right here, he got truffles from these guys. He used noble hops from Germany, and they use Pilsen malt. So it's actually a Pilsner with truffles in it now.
Yeah, I know there's probably contraband truffles into U.S. because it's so expensive.
So what is a truffle? I thought it was a nut. Is it a mushroom? Is it a nut? Is it a fungus? What is it?
It's some type of fungus, I think. I mean, I know like they get them. I think in England they use pigs to like sniff them out in the ground, and then they dig them up out of the ground. So, I mean, I don't think it's a root. Or
it is a fungus. Yeah,
it's a fungus.
But it's kind of it's digged, so you have to dig it out.
Wow.
It gets buried in the soil. I know in England, in those places, they actually train dogs, so the dogs go and find it.
Has anybody on this panel ever eaten one? I mean, what does it taste like? Is it savory? Is it salty? Is it?
I've had like French fries with truffle oil on them.
Yeah, that's the closest.
Yeah, it's the closest.
It's more for like the name, honestly, than it's for the flavor.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that I've always associated aren't truffles? Don't they make truffles that are like chocolates that they?
That's
different.
Yeah, it's a total different product. It's just the name is the
So
same.
they're just trying to screw with my mind. They couldn't find their own word. They had to use something that meant something else.
Well, because truffles, I think that France is that's where the most expensive, the coolest, or whatever you call it, the good ones. Yeah, it comes from France.
There's a great episode.
I think the chocolate looked a little bit, the chocolate were stuffed with things. So I wonder if that's how they got the name. But they're two different things.
Doug, there's a great episode of what?
Well, you just in regards to just truffles themselves, I think it was on 60 Minutes or the CBS or the morning show on Sunday, maybe about a year or so ago on truffles. That if you can find it online, it's a great watch. It's about this company that owns like 80% of the market of truffles. It's a good thing.
Are those the guys who train pigs to go find truffles?
No, I think they use dogs because the pigs will eat the truffles.
But I know it's very common to use pigs as well.
Yeah.
I think they originated using pigs because a lot of the farmers would have pigs more so than dogs. But I think they changed over to dogs because the dogs will eat them.
Yeah, put it down. Spit it out. Drop it.
Like pigs, you have to catch them as soon as they find it. You gotta get in there and try to take it out of their mouth.
Intercept.
Now $120 is pretty expensive, but it's not the most expensive beers out there. I mean, it's
Yeah, but I mean, the average person.
If it is an amazing quality tasting beer, you know.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not spending $120 on a bottle of beer.
No, me neither. Sounds like they might do all right. I don't know how much that they spent on the truffles going in, but what did they say? 40 barrels of it? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, but that part was kind of confusing. They said they made 40 barrels, the equivalent of 80 kegs. That math doesn't seem to work to me.
Half
Kegs
barrel.
a half barrel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they're referring to. Is half barrel
I read that and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah, we call them kegs some of the time. Yeah, but it's 15 gallons, half barrel.
But so real quick, the beer debuted a month ago at a restaurant in Chicago called Per Se at a Columbus Circle, and they paired it with roasted bitter chocolate and truffle black pudding with brioche cream, walnut floss, and green almonds. That sounds amazing. I've never had like 4 out of the 5 things they spoke about that they paired it with, but it just sounds amazing.
Was the restaurant in Chicago or was it in New York City? Because I know there's a Per Se.
Oh wait,
in New York
my bad.
City.
It may be New York City, wherever Columbus Circle is.
It's New York City. I think they
Columbus
did that
Circle's
in
at the
different
park.
place before. I think he's moving.
Yeah, it's Thomas Keller's restaurant.
Okay, my bad. The beer is brewed in Chicago, my fault. But
all New Yorkers, we apologize for that oversight.
Yeah,
We would never compare you to Chicago and any other reason. All right. Well, we talked a couple of episodes ago about the craft beer, the Great American Beer Festival, and how they were shuffling things up with regards to the number of breweries that they permitted. So any I don't know what the final brewery count was, but any brewery that wanted to participate could participate, and then they were going to divide down as to how many beers you could submit. But
they set the cap for 1,700. But I don't think they're going to reach that.
Yeah, well, they must be done by now. I can't imagine there's too many breweries that still haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, we'll bring you that information when we have it. But they are going to pre-sale starting on the Gil, what was that? The
July 30th, 10 a.m. They because they still have a contract for another year for the ticket. I think it's tickets.com or ticketmaster.com, something. Ticketmaster, and then. So at 10 a.m. they're going to open, and so if you have any intention to go, set your alarm because last year they sold out in a couple hours. So
yeah.
Keep your eye open.
Yeah, Ticketmaster is where the link is. So yeah, so Ticketmaster at on the 30th at 10 a.m. if you want to go. So boy, sold out in 2 hours. I mean, didn't they say there were like 30,000 people or something there last year?
Yeah, that was
And they sold all those tickets in 2 hours. All right, this is the craft beer movement here, so everybody's excited about it. So, all right, and Gil, you also found something else, or moving on from the GABF, you found something else about an article that was interesting about craft beer cameos.
Well, it's not quite an article. It was several articles, but what was interesting is that we were talking a few weeks back. We mentioned about on one of our Friday nights. A couple people were talking about the TV shows showing craft beer, and it seems to really that thing just had a boom now. There's tons of shows showing out, and so Beer Advocate magazine did something cool. They made a little map. They don't have all the shows in there, but yeah, if you're interested, go look for it. And I remember we mentioned many shows like Parks and Recreation and others, but the amount of beer on mainstream TV, it's increasing so much. And there's a lot of big brewers now doing advertising on TV shows. But if you're like, if you're like me, that you're watching a movie and then you pause every time, oh, let's see that beer, and then you slow down. I know Big Bang Theory used to have their own beer, like fake beer, but recently a couple of their episodes, I think one time I saw Shiner Bock.
Oh, nice, because Sheldon's from Texas.
Yeah, and then I saw Duck Rabbit.
That's awesome.
They have good taste in beer.
And Orange is the new black. They have a Stone.
I was just typing that as you said that, Randy.
I like to see that The Walking Dead has Terrapin and Sweetwater and Red Brick. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I think the Grimm is one of the shows that I most see it out of, because the whole thing happens in Oregon, of course, so that you see it.
Santa Fe Brewing Company was all over Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of interesting because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the Radio Lab, which is an NPR program, is routinely sponsored by Lagunitas, and
Yep.
This American Life as well too. And their
Yep.
tagline is Lagunitas, we're putting the pub back in public, or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
so public radio.
I remember the first time I heard on the end the guy from This American Life thanks Lagunita. I was like, did I get that right?
Yeah, Ira.
Ira Flato.
No, he's on
Ira
Friday,
Glass.
Science Friday. It's Ira
Oh,
Glass.
Ira Glass. My bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
You get it.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're like me and you love TV shows and love beer, it's just a fun fact, a fun thing to do. You know? It's so much that now when I see anybody holding a beer, I have to try to see what it is. And, it's just
Yeah.
I mentioned this just because it's a testament how there's a booming happening on craft beer, but there's also an interest of people with a high taste, or also some local, some shows trying to support some local
Absolutely.
foods and beer. Netflix has a show called a movie on Netflix called Drinking Buddies. Yeah, it's a slow romantic comedy. It's a very slow moving movie, but it's the whole movie was it's a story happens in a brewery, and so that's it's fun when you love beer. And
So Drinking Buddies is about beer drinking, but sadly the 1980s comedy Bosom Buddies was not exactly about what it's.
right.
Peter Scolari and Tom Hanks, great stuff right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
All right,
you're pulling half the stuff off the trunk this week.
Oh, I mean, come on, Tom Hanks in a sitcom, you can't beat that. So we're talking here now about the review of the week, and other weeks we've done reviews from the just written reviews and a picture of the beer. This week we're going to do a video review. We're going to highlight a video review. The Erie Better Beer Bureau guys did a review. I think they just posted it yesterday, and I'm not going to get all their last names, but Dave, Maury, and Mark, who are pretty active guys on Google Plus and other social media platforms that we're on. They reviewed Jester King's, should have picked something easier to pronounce, Montmorency and Balaton versus Balaton. And it was a sour,
Nice.
a sour, funky cherry thing. And I picked this one specifically because I love their reviews. I usually, whenever I drink something, I think, oh, that's just exactly how they described it. And Ashley is got a relationship with Jester King, so I wanted to know, have you had this cherry beer?
Sadly, no. The most recent awesome one I've had is the Atrial. I'd love to say I've had it, but we haven't had a shipment in a while in South Carolina.
All right, well, maybe it's coming then.
Actually, don't you have
Fingers
the Atrial at Bruvival?
At Bruvival, yes. The Atrial was at Bruvival, and it was one of the first beers to run out at Bruvival.
I was like fifth in that line.
Yeah.
Well, follow Craft Beer Nation on Google Plus, on Instagram or Twitter, and we will reshare this review from them and just watch it. I think they go through aroma, color, taste, they score things at the end. I think they gave this like a 4.25 or 4.5 out of 5. So to me it's good information. So
yeah, if you're like me that likes to watch every video review of beer, I think they are one of the better that are out there.
Yeah, they do a great job.
yeah.
You can search for ERB Better Beer Bureau on YouTube too. It's just they are very conscious. There's no, they talk and they disagree, which is
Yeah.
part of the fun.
That's hard to say though. The Erie Better Beer Bureau, EBBB, huh?
E-triple-B.
E-triple-B. All right. All right. We're gonna help give them a shorter nickname. All right. Well, we are at the half-hour mark here, so let me talk real quick about some beer releases. Firestone Walker Brewing is having their third and final bottle release of the barrel-aged double DBA. It's coming out actually next Saturday, the 12th. I do not know what this beer is. I have one on my shelf from an earlier release. Is this the same beer? They're just releasing some of it with age on it now, or what's the?
No, that's the last time they're brewing it, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
they brewed it again. All right. Okay, so the third and final bottle release of the double DBA. So I might have to take mine down off the shelf and drink it. Isn't it like a barrel-aged ESB? Is why
it's
so barrel-aged Imperial ESB, I think.
It's
you
so
actually
good.
had it. You just don't remember. You had it at the CBN Con last year.
Well, I actually
Yes.
have an unopened bottle of it that I believe I stole from CBN Con last year.
Oh,
So maybe it
that's
never
where
got
it is.
opened. I'll bring it this weekend to this year's con, and somebody else can steal it. It's the bottle that gets passed around. We talked about the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp Across America 12 packs that are coming out. They started rolling out on the 7th of July, so look for them in your area. That sounds like a fun box of 12 beers for me. Actually 10 bottles and 2 cans here, it says. Backstage Series Dissenter, the Imperial IPL from Founders coming out. And on festivals, our good friends at Breckenridge are getting ready now this next weekend to celebrate their 24th anniversary, having a hootenanny and pig roast. So if you're anywhere near the Breckenridge folks, look them up on the internet and go to that. Shipyard Old Port Summer Fest is the 20th anniversary of Shipyard, and that's on Saturday the 12th here as well in Portland, Maine. 10th annual Summertime Brews Festival, the Coliseum Complex in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think we talked about maybe trying to steal over to this one, but who has time with all that we've got going on this weekend? But that's going to be Saturday the 12th. The 2014 Barrington Brew Fest, Saturday, July 12th, downtown in Barrington, Illinois. If you're in that area, go check that out. Because Beer Craft Brew Festival, Hamilton, Ontario. The Canadians love their beer as well, too. And that is Friday and Saturday, the 11th and 12th. The Breast Fest Beer Festival, I hope that's not a typo. That is awesome. Is that like beer for Save the Tatas? Is it like a breast cancer thing? Fundraiser? I don't know.
It is a breast cancer awareness festival.
Awesome. That sounds like something really worth supporting, and that is San Francisco, California.
That's
no
right.
jokes about supporting on July 12th. The Feast of St. Arnold, Chandler, Arizona, 12th and 13th. That's Saturday and Sunday. Cap Ale House in National Exhibition in Richmond, Virginia. On the 15th and 20th. I'm very close to Richmond. That's next week, so I might have to put that on my schedule. Empire Brew Fest in Syracuse, New York. Beer Camp Across America is actually going to be in the Northwest edition. It's going to be in Chico, California on the 19th. And, of course, the big news, Grandma's Closet. We're going to tap the kegs. I'm thinking we could probably kill one of those ourselves.
Yep.
I thought that was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it the old college try, and that's at the Busy Bee Cafe, which is what the Brewdog said is the best beer bar in Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham. So
It's pretty fantastic.
come out and hang out with us on July 12th. I'm not kidding. Come in there and say my name, and I will buy you around. So come on down and enjoy some good beer with us.
All 100 of you.
All 100 of you. Yeah, believe me, I'd love it if 100 people listened to this show and came to Raleigh.
You'd like it till you got that check.
I would. Yeah. Well, I'd duck out of there. Oh, look at the time. I got to go. That's at 3 p.m. on the 12th, by the way. So until next week, until we do this again, we'll probably come back next Friday and do this again. Until then, I'm Matt. For Randy, Gil, Doug, Ashley, and Alan, let me just say, drink the good stuff and mind your P's and Q's.